Hi, welcome to the Fantasy Football Clown Show. I'm your host, Ed Smith. Today we're going to take a look at a 12-team league called the Top Boss Bowl, and just some background in this league. I think this league actually has a team in it that probably hates me more than anybody in any league. So kind of funny that that I kind of recognize that there's somebody that really hates me an awful lot here in this league, and so actually does have a better team than me. Kind of funny, but it's really not about that. He just doesn't like maybe the way that I play, I guess. And I do play the villain a lot, and do some intentional things to maybe not be well liked, but I don't think it was hateful. But somehow or other, he kind of takes it as hateful, and he takes it as this, it doesn't that you shouldn't play any other way in fantasy football than his way of how he's used to seeing it done. And so we'll take a look at the team and kind of my build and why, and I think you guys will, you'll see some semblance to some of the other teams that we have. So it won't be totally off the wall, but it'll just be kind of some fun to go through and to take a look at this team. It's a 1 point PPR league with half point PPR premium for the tight end. It's got a quarterback, super flex, running back, three receiver, one tight end, two flex. So we got 10 starters here and then 10 bench spots, four taxi. So 24 man roster with two IRs to 26. So a little bit shorter on the bench than sometimes, but it does allow us to still monopolize the quarterback position a little bit. And we feel like the quarterback position is the most important here in a super flex league. So um, we have Lamar, and we have Carr, Jimmy G, Wentz, Mayfield, Love, Tyrod Taylor, and then Davis Mills. So, we do have a fair amount of starters, especially if Love gets the job and maybe Tyrod is a bridge quarterback and Wentz stays with the job. But there's a lot of ifs there, really. And so, even though we have 8 quarterbacks on the roster, we're not sure if we have 8 starters. But even if we have 6, let's say, it still gives us a position of strength. And it was probably how I drafted those quarterbacks that really got everybody's attention, really. And so they basically didn't understand that draft strategy. But, the quarterbacks are okay. I think there's some room to maneuver there. And I like to build with quarterbacks, even though Carr and Jimmy G and then a little bit to a lesser degree Wentz and I guess Tyrod's old too. But there's some youth there, but there's also some older quarterbacks that we'll be looking to get off of if the price is right. Just waiting for that price to be right, really, and so that will be something that we'll be looking to move on from, as we go. But really looking to just execute a philosophy that we have and not let value drop down the board. So the idea was draft quarterbacks, but not let value drop down the board. Now the running back room here is terrible. I mean, there's not any way to sugarcoat that. It's got some scat backs and some we'll see what happens kind of players. So Naheem Hines, Gaskin, Moss, DJ Dallas, Deion Jackson, Herbert, and Funk. So a really poor running back room. We just need to get 2 starters really. We need to have starters. We have no starters at this point. So really need 2 or 3 starters. So this team is probably in year two of existence, going into year two, and honestly, it's not going to win this year. And most of the blueprints that I do follow are with the blueprint of we're going to win year three, and then year 4 and 5 we should be stout. And so, if we look at that in Lamar, saying Lamar's not going to be excellent this year, but next year Lamar needs to be, really off and running. And we just need to have some more of where that came from. So we'll keep looking to build this quarterback room, and it's going to frustrate people, but if we get a couple rookie quarterbacks this year that become something next year, that'll make this quarterback room really good. When we're really trying to go get it. Now, the receiver room is a little bit suspect as well, and I do have them ranked as the third most important position. But Michael Thomas, he was just a value pick, and then DK Metcalf, he's young, so we're really excited about where he goes. Sterling Shepard is not a person that's getting any younger. He was a value last year. I thought he got hurt. Until he got hurt, he was somebody I thought we could really use that people weren't thinking of using, and so he was somebody I counted on maybe in a little bit bigger way if we're going to win. Odell Beckham, and then and then we do have Smith. So there's another option for us. With Taquan Smith from the Saints as far as a low end option for us. So there's some places to maneuver in the youth there, but not what I consider outside of Metcalf anything that's usable. But keeping in mind that we do have a draft this year that's full of receivers, and even though I don't think we're going to get maybe the guys that we need to compete, we're just building blocks. And a good year of Michael Thomas this year, he sells for what we're looking for. A good year of Beckham this year, he sells for what we're looking for. And you know what? If we don't get the draft of running backs this year, we have to wait till next year to pull in some running backs. That's okay. That'll be okay. And so, looking at the draft, and this is important about because it'll be interesting to see how the draft goes versus where we are today. So right now we sit with the second, the seventh, the 10th, and the 11th pick. So there is 4 first-round draft picks here. The draft is full of receivers, but at pick 2, it probably won't be a receiver. At pick 7, unless it's like one of the top receivers, it's probably not going to be a receiver. So, we're probably going to follow in with number 10 and 11 being receivers, and it may get us, ready to have 2 more receivers to go with Metcalf to compete there. But I'm not going to put a lot of faith in that. But I feel like with those 4 picks, it's going to be some building blocks, and it's highly unlikely it's going to be running backs in my mind. But let's just say it's 2 quarterback throws and 2 receiver throws. Dart throws at the board. It'll be something that we'll be able to maneuver down the line. And if we trade Thomas or Beckham for some more draft capital next year, we're going to come in and go strong running back, and all of a sudden we have a team that's going to be hard to beat. So that's really like how we're going to build this thing. Just to revert back to the tight end position, we have Freiermuth and Uzoma. Uzoma's not getting any younger, so probably we're looking to move on from him if there's a time to do that. But Freiermuth is young, and so pretty much feel like that we don't really need to go get a tight end to get anymore. We'll just let one come to us when we need it. So not even a premium really at 1.5 points. So we're not really feeling any pressure to go get a tight end. Then we also have the 22nd pick in the second round and the 26th pick in the third round. So, really we'll get a couple more dart throws of our top 30 players that we look for. And, it's possible we'll get a couple more cracks at a top 20 player depending on how the board falls. A lot of times I find in my top 20 reacts very closely to what the top 20 picks are. Once we start getting outside of 21 to 30, that's when usually people are starting to pull stuff that maybe I loosen up my draft board or go further away from the status quo. The top 20, I really let value fall to me. If somebody lets a piece fall, I take. And so I kind of take whatever's given. So I would say the 22nd pick maybe gets me one of my top 20 players, but I would say the 26th pick probably doesn't. Like all those top 20 players will be gone by the time we get to pick 26. But it's still going to be dart throws, still some top 30 players for us that we're going to be able to put on this roster and take a shot with. And so looking at the startup draft, and this is an important distinction in my mind of what we were doing there to go get stuff. We did come in with Metcalf and Mixon in the third round and Thomas in the fourth round. So I wasn't just banging on quarterbacks like maybe some other leagues, but just the fact that it went Mayfield, Wentz, Carr, just got everybody's score. And yet, so 4 out of the first 7 rounds I had quarterbacks, but they did go with 2 receivers and a running back. So it wasn't totally ridiculous to a point of all quarterbacks. There will be some room for growth here, and I think that this team after this year of building, is poised to win, and so we'll probably navigate near the bottom of the pack this year. And it's not that I ever try to tank, so I guess I want to make that distinction. I try to win every week. I just take a look after week 4, week 5, that kind of range, and see where the team is and understand what we have. I won't say that there's no way to win. I mean, Michael Thomas could ball out. Beckham could come back on time and ball out, and then we got something. Maybe these running backs become a thing, and Moss has a job, and Gaskin's a thing, and Hines gets to play all the time as the third down specialist, and I mean, there's a lot of ifs and buts and hopes, and if all those things do come out, then fine. But if they don't, it's okay. We're not going to get all bent out of shape if we don't win this year, because really we have the 10-year plan, and so year 3 is the year we're going to really go after it. So have one more year of growing pains here with this team, and then after that we're going to go get it. And we think we have the pieces here to go get it. And so I kind of like where it's going. I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time today on this team, but know that we really anger one of my league mates here, and if he watches it, put what you hate about the team in the comments, that we have too many quarterbacks and that we don't let anybody else have any quarterbacks, and that I won't trade the quarterbacks. So that's kind of funny. In this league, they think I have to trade whatever their asking price is, and whatever mine is ridiculous. And I don't know. I guess I'm pretty patient. I'll just wait until you want to give me the price, or I'll just hold it. And if I lose, I lose. It's not that big of a deal. And if I have 7 quarterbacks, and I have 7 quarterbacks, and I'll just wait here, and I'll throw Nyheim Hines and Myles Gaskin out there. And part of the reason I traded Joe Mixon was because I thought, well, Mixon's not going to be around in year 3 when I'm ready to go. So it's not really that worthwhile. And if I get pick 7 and pick 10, I might be able to do more than what Joe Mixon can operate for. And I think that might have been about what I got for the Joe Mixon trade. And so, that's kind of how I build a team like this. So let me know what you think in the comments. Hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, and then also the notification button to let you know when these videos drop. The one drops every day. So looking forward to coming back to you tomorrow from the Fantasy Football Clown Show. I'm Ed Smith.